Low fat or high fat? What is the better diet? Well, in this video, I'm going to be testing both extremes by starting off with just 1 gram of fat and doubling it every meal until I can't. 1 gram of fat doesn't look like much, but it contains more than twice the energy of a gram of carbohydrate or protein. So what happens when you flood your system with exponentially increasing amounts of fat? Well, I'm about to find out.
Well, meal number 1, only have 1 gram of fat to work with. So I'm going to be making a smoothie with these blueberries. These are Canadian blueberries, flash frozen and flown all the way to Australia. Just found them yesterday. With Canadian maple syrup, mix those together with some skim milk. So I can have 3 full glasses of skim milk, and that equals only 1 gram of fat. So far this diet is not very restrictive at all. Ton of volume, tastes delicious.
This first meal was 510 calories with 1 gram of fat, 93 grams of carbs, and 27 grams of protein. I went off to work and this meal easily carried me through to lunchtime.
All right, meal number 2. I've got a whole bunch of zero fat options: fruit, apple, orange, can of pineapple, this melon flavored soda, and my 2 grams of fat is coming in the form of a single Oreo. Incredible.
Meal 2 was 590 calories with 2 grams of fat, 147 grams of carbs, and 5 grams of protein.
Well, this is pretty delicious. And that was a really filling lunch. High carb, low fat, pretty much zero protein. Definitely the easiest diet to follow is a low fat diet. You can eat tons of carbs, tons of energy, tons of natural foods. You don't feel sluggish, there's no adaptation period. Just feel good. And there's tons of basically like little cheats, like this Japanese pop, which is delicious, but still part of my diet apparently. Low fat.
All of these carbs fueled me through an afternoon run in the park and a hard session of jiu-jitsu. Well, finally dinner time. And I have 4 grams of fat for my dinner. I'm gonna have this entire tub of acai. Well, actually not the entire tub, just 4/5 of the entire tub. So this entire tub has 5 grams of fat. So I'm gonna only have 4 of those grams. Frozen scoopable acai with bananas.
That's pretty good. That's really good actually. No banana in sight, just the acai. I definitely should have let this defrost a little bit first. That's incredible. Really sweet. Can you see my whole head?
Yep.
Because it looked like you were just filming right here.
That's so not true.
Okay. Really sweet. This is going to be very satisfying. I might have one of my new favorite creations, plain white rice with jam after this, because that'll be another zero fat. See how I'm feeling. All right, second course, we have plain white rice with some boysenberry jam. Seems weird, but don't knock it till you try it. If you're doing some strange restrictive diet where you either can't eat fat or can't eat protein, this is a great snack. I discovered this on my first day of the protein restriction diet. Check out that video. But I'm gonna eat this while we watch the new season of Squid Game.
My dinner was 650 calories with 4 grams of fat, 139 grams of carbs, and 7 grams of protein. Well, it was a very satisfying dinner, and turns out the low-fat diet is not that hard to do at all. Satisfying, filling, and gives you tons of energy. But I definitely need to work on getting a little bit more protein tomorrow. On day number 1, I ate 1,751 calories with 7 grams of fat, 380 grams of carbs, and 38 grams of protein.
Meal number 4, and I have 8 grams of fat. I decided to put that to use in a big bowl of oatmeal. As far as grains go, oats are actually quite fatty, so this is a serving and a half, with also a full serving of protein powder, serving of skim milk, some honey, delicious. Haven't had oatmeal in a while. It was gonna be nice and filling. Great way to start the day. Some people say oats are peasant food, but not when you make them like this. This is pretty dang good.
Well, it was a decent breakfast, and now I have 16 grams of fat to deal with for lunch. I didn't pack a lunch, so I'm gonna have to go pick something up, but it should be a lot easier to find something with 16 grams of fat to work with.
On my lunch break, I raced over to the grocery store and picked up an incredibly filling meal.
All right, lunch secured, and it's a pretty awesome lunch. We got sushi, these little tiny salmon rolls, a collagen protein bar, and this whole thing of Japanese chicken curry. This whole thing is only 4 grams of fat. I don't know how, but I'm gonna believe it. That's what it says, so just gotta trust the system. This is a ton of food and 16 grams of fat. Plenty to work with. Pretty simple sushi, but it's gonna be delicious nonetheless. What a great lunch.
This meal was 792 calories with 16 grams of fat, 112 grams of carbs, and 46 grams of protein. To be honest, it seemed like a lot more food than what was written on the label, but I decided to trust it.
What a great lunch. Super filling, good amount of protein. I cannot complain with this one. This is definitely gonna hold me over till dinner.
Well, I'm not really used to having such a big lunch. And to be honest, it kind of made me sleepy after eating all that food, especially when I'm not really moving at work at all. Decided to go for a bit of a run / walk in the park, do a little bit of grounding, knock off the cobwebs before jiu-jitsu class. Tonight I just get to eat a normal meal, basically 32 grams of fat. And then tomorrow I'm gonna have to go pretty much straight up keto to be able to get all the fat in for the day. It's gonna be an interesting day of eating, that's for sure. All right, had a good workout despite being a little bit tired beforehand, but now time to fuel up with just a regular meal. Nothing too crazy. 32 grams of fat. I have 200 grams of lean ground beef, 200 grams of rice. Throw a little barbecue sauce on that, a little bit of kimchi. It's gonna be delicious. A little bit of normalcy before we dive into ketosis tomorrow. This meal was 680 calories with 32 grams of fat, 56 grams of carbs, and 55 grams of protein. Well, I'm feeling pretty good after that delicious meal prepared by my beautiful wife, ready for bed. And I'm actually feeling kind of excited about tomorrow. It's gonna be a nice change up. On day number 2, I ate 1,997 calories with 56 grams of fat, 237 grams of carbs, and 134 grams of protein.
The keto day has arrived. My first fatty breakfast. I'm starting it off with a big fat scoop of peanut butter, 2 servings of that. And then I'm cooking up some eggs in a ton of butter, throwing some cheese on top, and that's my first meal. 64 grams of fat.
This keto breakfast was 787 calories with 64 grams of fat, 9 grams of carbs, and 42 grams of protein. And that easily held me over until my big fat lunch.
Big fat lunch coming in hot. We got this bag of keto barbecue almonds, 50 grams of fat. We got this whole tub of full fat Greek yogurt, another 50 grams of fat. And then I got this bag of 30 grams of cocoa butter, which is the final 28 grams of fat. I'm gonna put that in the yogurt. It's gonna be delicious. I actually feel really good so far. Today, just having fat and protein in the morning, just really clean energy. Obviously, I still got some carbs in my system, but it was nice. I guess when you don't mix carbs and fat, you actually end up having really good energy. It's when you mix carbs and fat, I find that you get like that sleepy, kind of groggy, kind of how I was feeling after lunch yesterday. This cocoa butter is like a keto cheat code. Tons of fat, tastes delicious. Kind of put it in anything. Very high in stearic acid, which is more likely to get used as energy rather than stored in your body. So it has some pretty specific and unique benefits. Oh, these smell really good. They smell way better than they taste. The smell is like a hardcore, really strong barbecue chip flavor. The taste, pretty mild, but really good nonetheless. This is such an easy way to get 128 grams of fat in. Well, I had a good afternoon at work, just off to training now. And I'm feeling full of energy, feeling good. The only thing is my stomach still feels full. It's probably from putting back that 500 grams of almonds. That many nuts can be rough on your digestive system.
Fat metabolism is very different from carbohydrates. It doesn't spike your blood sugar, so it doesn't trigger a massive insulin release, so it barely registers in your pancreas at all. But that doesn't mean it's harmless. The issues arise when you do high fat for long term. Because fat takes longer to digest, it affects hormones like cholecystokinin, leptin, and it alters mitochondrial function. These are 3 major reasons why diets like keto and carnivore work so well in the short term, but over long term, they can cause some issues. In the short term, these hormones will make you feel full quicker, and they'll tell your body when your fat stores are sufficient. However, in the long term, your body will become resistant to these signals, leading to fat gain, sluggish metabolism, and chronic hunger despite high fat stores. And in excess, high fat can even dull your insulin response. A pretty interesting twist for something that doesn't spike insulin at all. After training, I made some super fatty sausages and a big bowl of salad, which I smothered in 5 tablespoons of olive oil, each one adding an additional 15 grams of fat. The flavor of this olive oil is actually incredible. This is the one I got from my 7-day living off the land hunter-gatherer style video. Make sure you check that one out. The flavor is delicious, it's just the texture. Never taken a shot of oil before. Well, after that first course, I'm still over 100 grams short. Let's get to it. Butter, not cheese. For dessert, I had a couple croissants with peanut butter and made a yogurt bowl to finish off the meal. Well, this is it to polish off my 256 grams of fat. This is like well over 50 grams, and it doesn't take much volume to get large amounts of fat in. I don't feel full at all, and I've eaten well over 5,000 calories today. This is cocoa butter, more peanut butter, and some more Greek yogurt. Gonna finish this. Oh, and of course some jam. Needed some sweetness to balance it out. Gonna finish this, and that's gonna set me up for a big day tomorrow. I'm not gonna try and get 512 grams in for breakfast, so I'm gonna try throughout the entire day. So as far as one meal goes, 256 grams, that's a lot of fat. Any more than that, I'm just kind of start making myself feel sick. So we're gonna go for 512 tomorrow throughout the entire day. See how that goes. This meal was small in terms of volume, but it was massive in terms of energy, with 3,114 calories, 256 grams of fat, 131 grams of carbs, and 77 grams of protein. On day 3, I ate 5,473 calories with 448 grams of fat, 184 grams of carbs, and 172 grams of protein.
Well, I woke up feeling surprisingly full this morning, despite the small volume of food. All that fat just kind of sits in your stomach. Really not hungry at all this morning. I'm gonna try and get a little bit of breakfast in. But the main way I'm gonna get my fat in is this heavy whipping cream. I'm gonna do a coffee that's like half whipping cream, half coffee.
I knocked out a few croissants with butter, had a big glob of peanut butter, and washed it all down with a 50-50 coffee cream concoction. For lunch, I had more sausages with sweet potato and butter and smothered the whole thing in full fat sour cream. Well, all home from work, got about 200 grams of fat done today, and honestly, I don't feel that great. Just been like sitting in my stomach all day, especially like, it feels like I'm still full from last night. Put down over 400 grams last night, and now today, still don't feel that good. So I'm gonna have a bit more. Hopefully this doesn't push me over the edge. I'm not gonna make myself sick or anything, but I'm gonna make a nice big fat bomb and see how I feel after that. The experiment continues. Well, that was like 130 gram fat bomb. Feel pretty good after eating it, to be honest. It's kind of insane how many calories you can put away when you're just focusing on fat. Really doesn't take up much room in your stomach at all compared to carbs and protein. It's very satiating in the fact that I don't feel hungry, but I don't necessarily feel full either. Like, I definitely still have room. I could eat more, but I don't want to eat more. Anyways, let's go see how 100 grams of basically straight fat fuels a workout. Well, training on a big stomach full of fat turns out is not the greatest idea. Kind of just feels like sloshing around the whole time. Felt a little sluggish. Not the greatest pre-workout. Not that that's surprising, but time for dinner. Let's go eat some more. For dinner, I made some super fatty ground beef with mashed potatoes loaded up with butter, cheese, and heavy whipping cream. My side was another olive oil soaked salad. Well, if there's one thing I learned throughout this week is that salad is an excellent delivery method for fat. You can put so much olive oil on a salad and it only tastes better when you eat it. So after that massive fat bomb, I feel absolutely disgusting. I'm not super full, but even I'm like phlegmy, just like so oily. The salad, the olive oil, the mashed potatoes, The butter, the cream, the cheese, everything. I'm at 505 grams for the day. So 7 more grams of fat and I've finished off this disgusting day of grease. Well, dessert. Dairy milk, caramello. 4 squares of this and I'll have hit my fat for the day. This will most likely be the end of the experiment. It's not quite fun anymore. On day number 4, I ate 5,905 calories with 512 grams of fat, 217 grams of carbs, and 113 grams of protein. So what did I learn from all of this? Well, this was the final video in my series of doubling my macros. When I started these experiments, I kind of thought it was a pointless and silly idea, but I thought it might at least make for an entertaining video. But throughout these past few weeks, I actually learned a lot about the extremes of macronutrient ratios and how they make me feel. First of all, combining high fat with high carbs is a really dangerous combination. It makes you feel really sluggish and definitely puts on weight fast. If you're going to be combining fat and carbs, it has to be done sparingly and you have to be smart about your carb choices. I also realized that by far one of the easiest diets to follow is the low-fat, high-carb diet. And if you restrict both fat and protein, you can eat a ton of volume and have a ton of energy. Another thing is that eating high fat is by far the easiest way to get calories in. It might not make you feel great, but I easily ate over 5,000 calories and didn't really feel full at all. I felt gross, but not full. When it comes to protein, however, it is incredibly satiating. And on the other end, if you try to go zero protein or just low protein, it's actually surprisingly difficult. A lot of things contain protein that you might not think. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the other 2 videos in the series where I doubled my carbs and my protein. I hope you learned something from this video, or at least just enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.